So to kick off 2020 at Switch Stop, obviously as you can see with the past videos that we've uploaded this year so far, it's basically the month of the port talk, so I'm going to be continuing that with some GameCube port talk.
But PJ, what about N64?
See, now I was going to do that, but it's more than likely that N64 games are probably going to be on to Nintendo Switch Online coming this year. At least that's what I predict. So I don't think that we're going to see GameCube games because I think Nintendo can actually profit off of them if they port some of their bigger released games on GameCube for an actual full price. So let's just get right into that. Metroid Prime, which came out in 2002, was the very first 3D Metroid game that we've ever seen. And with its fourth installment, which I expect to come out in 2021, I think this should be remade kind of just like Wind Waker should be remade. And I'm not only talking about the first game, I'm talking about all three, and I think that they should bring the Metroid Prime trilogy to Nintendo Switch. There were two Metroid Prime games released on the GameCube as well as one on the Wii, and the original trilogy came out in 2009, and obviously you could play this on the Wii U, but like, you know, it's the Wii U.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
It's been over 10 years since the original trilogy has been released for the Wii, and I think it's time for them to bring it back so that people can get caught up with the series, so that when Metroid Prime 4 comes out as planned in 2021, people can know at least what's going on. I think this is probably the most likely on the list, and I would love to see this on the Switch. I expect to see this honestly at E3 2020. Super Mario Sunshine is the game that sort of made me a Mario fan. Some people either really like the game or some people just don't really like its innovative way of platforming with FLUDD and all that good stuff. I'm sure you guys know already, but it is one of my personal favorites. Now, if we're talking about the actual probability of it to be ported over, I'm probably gonna say no. And the reason I'm gonna say that is because most games like this don't really get ported over, and the main series Mario games that usually get ported over are the ones that are really multiplayer heavy, such as Super Mario 3D World, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, like those type of games, and not something like a Super Mario Sunshine where they are busy making new 3D Mario games pretty frequently, and I'm pretty sure they're working on Odyssey 2 right now, so I think we should expect that, but I don't really expect any sort of main series Mario game ports or remakes or anything like that in the near future. Now, I would love to see Sunshine, but it's pretty unrealistic, and we should just be looking forward to Odyssey 2 instead of looking back into this, and we should just remember this game for how good it was. Double Dash is a game that hits really close to home because I used to play this with my best friend all the time when we were kids, really young, on his GameCube at his house forever. And we used to actually just play Grand Prix over and over again, not even knowing what we would unlock. And then we would just unlock characters randomly, I remember, and it would just be like the most satisfying thing ever because, you know, we were obviously under 10 years old and just really good times. But Double Dash in general has a really low chance be remade for the Switch. And the only way that I could see this happening is because this segment is actually recorded after Thomas's Mario Kart video. He was basically referencing how Mario Kart shouldn't really need to come out with a new game because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling amazingly, as well as Mario Kart Tour doing amazing on mobile devices, so there's really no need for any of this right now. But honestly, I think any version of a Mario Kart Double Dash remake itself is pretty much out the window. However, the mechanics may not be far behind, possibly in Mario Kart 9. Maybe we could have all of these Mario Kart 8 mechanics such as anti-gravity along with the gliders, plus the duo car and duo item holding for two characters in a car. We'll never know until Mario Kart 9 eventually comes out later in the Switch's lifespan, but I guess we'll just have to see. But unfortunately, I don't see Double Dash ever being remade for the Switch. Next up here, we have The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Now, when I say that, a few of you might be a little confused because this game has actually been on multiple Nintendo systems multiple times in the recent past. So let me just give you a little rundown quickly before I even give you my reasons. So first off, The Wind Waker was actually released for the GameCube originally in North America in 2003, which you could also play on the Wii, which came out in 2006. Then Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD came out in September of 2013. So now that is 3 systems that you can play Wind Waker on. And then lastly, to our little beautifully painted timeline here by me, we have The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker Switch, and that would be the 4th console that this game would be on. So now let me explain. Controversial leaker named Wabi Sabi on Twitter said in a tweet, Breath of the Wild 2 taking longer than anticipated during E3 2019, so it doesn't seem to be this holiday's release, which makes us kind of think that it's going to be a 2021 release. So I started thinking, could Wind Waker be re-released in a possible Nintendo Direct sometime this year? And I don't think they're going to do it in an E3 because it's a remake game that's been remade now going on 4 times, which I'm assuming. So I think that this is going to happen to fill in that gap where Breath of the Wild 2 was supposed to come out, and just kind of give fans a chance to play Wind Waker for that newer generation of fans that maybe have not played Wind Waker HD or any Wind Waker whatsoever on any of these past consoles. So I think this will be announced sometime this year and come out on the Switch. And lastly, we have the lightning round, which is a list of games that are notable GameCube games but have a very low chance of being ported to the Switch. So let's get right into it real quick. First up, we got Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. These are 2 spin-off games set in the 3rd generation, and it was very unique because this was basically the first time that I can recall that the entire Pokemon formula was switched up, as in you had no wild battles, and the way that you caught Pokemon was to snag them, and they were only caught in Shadow Pokemon form. Now, when we talk about if this can be ported, I highly doubt it because Game Freak has bigger priorities. I mean, they're going to be looking into those Gen 4 remakes that I think will come out next year, along with possibly more expansion passes for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I did enjoy these games a lot as a kid, but I don't think that we're going to see them remastered anytime soon. Super Smash Bros. Melee. This was a highly talked about topic during the days of Smash 4, but this is another great game that won't really make the remake list for me because there's no reason to. We have new DLC, a new fighter pass just got announced with 6 characters that is going to extend all the way to December 2021, along with future DLC, at least that I'm guessing, to come out for Ultimate. So the only way I can really see this happening is that near the end of the Switch's lifespan, they release Melee HD, but still, I just don't really see that happening. Next up, we got Super Mario Strikers. Now, this series has so far only had 2 games, being Super Mario Strikers on the GameCube coming out in 2005, along with Super Mario Strikers Charge coming out in 2007 for the Wii. But ever since then, we haven't really seen anything or heard anything about the series. These games were honestly really fun, and I wish that they would come back. The only time that I can see this series making a comeback is possibly near the next World Cup, which is actually going to be in 2022. But even that, it's almost like Nintendo has forgotten about the Super Mario Strikers series, which is a bit disappointing to me, and I don't expect to see this make a comeback anytime soon. And lastly, we got Pikmin. Now, somebody tell me how the hell Brass Rock Angels can sell more than Pikmin. Like, what the fuck?